Hello guys, how are you doing today? Welcome to this lesson number 2 from the pre-intermediate level number 9. So let's just quickly review a little bit about the previous lesson. Remember that we have different types of questions with different types of auxiliary verbs. In this case, with was and were, which only functions as the verb, okay? And did, which functions as an auxiliary, and then we have the real action, in this case like. Remember that with yes or no questions, your only two possibilities are yes or no, but you have to be coherent with the auxiliary or the verb, in this case where, and if it is where you, then you have to be coherent. Now a question could be why in here you have were you and here you have I was. Well, remember that for the verb to be, we have I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, they were. So that's why, because the combination or the conjugation with you, we have were. The conjugation with I, it is was, okay? Wasn't. And with did, well, it remains the same, okay? Because it is the same for all. Did, yes, I did. Did you? Okay? Another important thing to mention is the pronunciation of questions. Instead of saying, did you like your teachers? Did you like your teachers? Did you? Did you like your teachers? It flows more. Did you like your teachers? Okay. Then we move to information questions. Again, we have to be coherent if we're going to make questions with only one action or verb, was or were. Which was your favorite cartoon? It was Scooby-Doo. It was my favorite cartoon. And also questions with the auxiliary did. Where did you live? I lived in Mexico City, but I moved to Puebla. Okay, again, in the past. Then we focused on used to. I told you it's important that because we're using an auxiliary verb, we leave use in the base form. But when we respond in a statement, we use used because we're talking about the past. If you're going to use negative, in this case, didn't used to, then the same idea. The auxiliary for negative, didn't, is going to cause to eliminate the D, and it will become in base form, use. Okay, so we have yes or no questions with used to and information questions with used to. Let's continue with this lesson number 2. And as you can see, we have questions about your childhood. Okay, so why do we have this these types of questions? I'm sorry. Well, because when we talk about your childhood, we discuss things about the past. Okay, so you have to remember a lot of the actions, a lot of the activities that you did when you were younger. So maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, depending your age. Okay, so maybe you start to get some memories about those actions. Now, obviously, these types of questions cannot only be used about your childhood. You can talk about your work experience, about your school experience, and other contexts. But I'm using childhood because maybe we have all of us have very similar experiences. Okay, so as you can see, I have 5 different examples of questions. Now you're going to help me see if well, what kind of questions they are. Remember from the review from last lesson, you're going to see differences between each question. So let's see how much you remember. Okay, so the first one, number 1. Where did you go to school? What kind of question is it? Information question? Yes or no question? What's the answer? Okay, Yes, if you answered information question, you are correct. Now, do you remember what kind of auxiliary do we use? Do we use a was or were auxiliary verb? Or do we use a did with another main verb? Great. If you responded that we use did, you are correct because we use did with the main verb go. Okay? So, in the question, where did you go to school? You could respond, I went to Edison Elementary. Okay? And as you can see, here we use the past simple form of go. Now, go is an example of irregular verbs. Okay? So as you can see, go changes to went. I went to Edison Elementary. Number 2. Let's see if you remember. Were you a good student? What kind of question is it? Information question or yes or no question? What do you think? Alright, if you answered yes or no question, that is correct. So, my second question, what kind of auxiliary do we use? Did or was were? What do you think? Exactly. If you answered was or were, it is correct. Were you a good student? Again, it is a yes or no question, so in this case I wrote yes. Were you a good student? Yes, I was. I was one of the best. Now, for question number 3, we have another example. Did you have a pet cat or dog? What kind of question is it? Information question or a yes or no question? Alright, if you said yes or no question, you are correct. Right? We have did you. Now, my second question, what kind of auxiliary do we have? Did or was and were? Alright, if you said did, you are correct. It's right here, did, and it's a yes or no question. So, did you have a pet cat or dog? No, I didn't. But I had a fish and a hamster. So again, it's a yes or no question. In this case, the response is no. We use didn't because it has to be coherent with my question. And in this case, I added a small complement that no pet cat or dog, but I had a fish and a hamster. Okay? Question number 4. Which was your favorite TV show? Okay? What kind of question is this? Information question or yes or no question? And what kind of auxiliary? Did or was and where? What do you think? Alright, if you said it was an information question, you are correct. We have which. And if you said that it was or were auxiliary, you are correct as well. Okay? Which was your favorite TV show? Okay? It was The Simpsons. Okay? Again, it is coherent with the question. Which was? It was. And let's go to the final one. Where did you grow up? Okay? What kind of question is it? Information question or yes or no question? What kind of auxiliary? Did or was and where? Alright, Well, if you said it's an information question, yes, you are correct. And if you said it is the auxiliary did, you are correct as well. Good job. Okay, so yes, where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? Grow up means crecer. Okay, so where did you grow up? ¿Dónde creciste? I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. Again, grow, crecer, comes, well, the verb in the past becomes grew. Okay, so it is another example of an irregular verb. Okay, so later we're going to get into more detail between regular and irregular verbs. Okay, I grew up in Chicago. So as you can see, we had the opportunity to practice different types of questions, yes or no questions, information questions, questions with the auxiliary did, questions with was or were. So remember to keep practicing, keep thinking of different questions to talk about your childhood, your school, your work, etc. because these questions are going to be very helpful. All right, so good job today, and I will see you for the final lesson, lesson number 3. Okay, have an excellent day.